Hello everybody, it's Visa Cash App Racing Bull back here. Yeah, we're not doing that. We're back here with a brand new episode of the F123 Career Mode, and take a look at the R&D. Connor Sport has come back with more upgrades here. They continue to get closer to the top 5 teams going into the Japanese Grand Prix, where we're coming off of 2 consecutive victories in Belgium and Monza in the last episode. We've been on a bit of a tear recently, now 3 wins on the season. Of course, it doesn't really matter because we had so much problems in the first half of the season that we're just not going to be able to claw our way back into the championship battle. However, we are going to claw our way as far up the ladder as we can. That's really the goal now. I mean, you never know. There is a world where Alex Albon has issues, and we saw that last episode in Monza. He had a mechanical issue that tumbled him down the order. He finished outside of the top 5, which was a big letdown for Alex Albon and his standards this season with McLaren. So we'll have to wait and see, though, as we only have a handful of Grand Prix remaining. Now, I think we are going to go to 23 races again next season. Let me know down in the comments below if you would like to see that. It does not look like we're going to see regulation changes going into next season. I was hoping we would, but at the same time, I'm not totally against it now that we're seeing Connor Sport starting to climb up the ladder. That'll bring 6 teams into the mix next season now, as even though there's been a lot of diversity in where everybody's been running with the top 5 teams kind of all over the place as the season is gone, we have still seen that same theme of Alex Albon just kind of on another level. But now that he has had a few Grand Prix now without victory, is his confidence going to be lower, especially after last episode now? When a driver loses confidence in this game, you see it. So we'll have to wait and see what he's able to do here today in qualifying. Now, it is supposed to rain in qualifying and in the Grand Prix as well. Rain is going to probably hit in Q2. Q1, as usual, a breeze for us. We're going to cruise through into the second session there, P10. Jack Doohan, Kelly Mayer looking very strong again, and you can see they continue to get closer in terms of timing every episode now, as Lawson, Sonoda, Hughes, Zhou, and Armstrong all out here in Q1. And then we roll into Q2, and as soon as we got on track in Q2, this is early in the session, you can see the rain was falling. So the rain is just going to continue to get heavier. The track's going to get more damp, and then of course really wet as the session goes on. So it's all about getting into time as quick as possible here to solidify yourself into Q3. So we got in pretty early. We were one of the first handful of cars at least across the line, and we actually go top of the board. P1 immediately down to second, but that would stick as the track would continue to get worse, which meant, to look at this, Trackhouse and Ferrari out, Piastri and Verstappen out, which meant it's going to be an Alpine and a Connor Sport car that managed to get in. Kelly Mayer made it into Q3, but Max Verstappen, an incredibly disappointing qualifying effort there for the Dutchman, who's often great in the rain conditions here now. As you can see, Pierre Gasly there, P9, Kelly Mayer in 8th. I was having a rough first lap, and you can see just slipping and sliding around, so this would force me into a second lap because I crossed the stripe and we only go P8, so I make the second lap here. This is going to be my last lap likely of the session, and not only for me but for everybody else as well here. And we are used to qualifying up towards the front and fighting for poles in the rain, so I was expecting the same if I could put the lap together, and this is where we would gain a lot of time. 9 tenths, 1 full second. It would be up to about 1.2 as we go through 130 our purple sector 2. I think this is going to be enough if we can just put the rest of the lap together. Through the final chicane, here we go, through the left-hander, and then we have the long sweeping right-hander to bring us home. Sideways there, a bit of grass on the right front, but we're okay. We catch it to the line. We lose a bit of time, but it's still enough for pole position here in the Japanese Grand Prix. Lando Norris in second, Leclerc third, our teammate of Drugovich in fourth, followed by Russell, Jackson, Albon, Hamilton, Mayer, and Gasly. Albon well down the order. Let's head to the grid here and see how things play out in Japan.
Welcome along to the legendary Suzuka. This classic racetrack boasts a long history dating right back to 1962 when it was first opened. Will more history be written here today at the Japanese Grand Prix? A lap of this historic racetrack covers 3.6 miles. It's the only time during the season that we race on a figure-of-8 circuit. And the drivers can expect some intense G-forces through the 18 corners on offer here as they experience some of the highest average apex speeds on the Formula One calendar. Keep an eye out for overtakes into the final chicane. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Golden Boy lines up on pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Drugovich, Russell, Jackson, Albon, Hamilton, Mayer, Gasly, Ocon, Oscar Piastri, Verstappen, Doohan, Sainz, Liam Lawson, Tsunoda, Hughes, Joe, and Marcus Armstrong. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. Anthony Davidson is alongside me, as usual, for today's race. The last few races have been a bit rough for them, unable to get a clean run. That's got to have some effect on their confidence, surely.
Certainly confidence is an important factor. And every time you're involved in an incident, it's not just the car you damage, but that confidence as well. But all the top racing drivers are able to tune that out when the race gets underway and focus on the job at hand.
News coming into this weekend as well. This will be the final Japanese Grand Prix in the F1 23 career mode here from the Suzuka circuit. Now you can see the rain is coming about midway through the race. Obviously we're going to start on softs with that reason.
The formation lap gets underway then, and it's going to be interesting today to see how the dry conditions could affect the lifespan of the tyres.
Everybody except Albon starting on softs. Albon going for an aggressive strategy here with the mediums.
As the cars come back towards the grid to line up for the start of the race, each driver will be wanting to get the best start they possibly can. And they'll be hoping to finish today's race on the podium, and failing that, within the points.
Another pole, let's go get 3 in a row.
I like that idea, Mark. Let's run it. The vibe here at Red Bull Ford has totally changed since where it was, 5-6 episodes ago. When Horner was demanding meetings and we were having the beef with Verstappen. Horner was just losing his mind, demanding a race ban for Max Verstappen. We have since moved on, from those moments. We're climbing up the points, and hopefully we can do that even more today here with a strong effort. I'm hoping a 3rd consecutive win here as we're ready to go here in Suzuka. Rain potentially on the way. When is it going to hit the circuit? We're going to find out as it's lights out. We're racing here from the Japanese Grand Prix. It's a poor start from the Mercedes of Lando Norris, but he covered off Drugovich well towards turn 1. He's going to stay ahead. Aiden Jackson, a great start. He's trying to go around Drugovich there. He started P6 just in front of his teammate of Albon. He's up to 3rd, 3 places gained as Albon looks like he's maybe lost a position now. As you can see in between, you got Lewis Hamilton just behind Drugovich as well, Charles Leclerc, George Russell, and then you finally get to Albon. Calimere up inside the top 10 right here as well. As you can see the rest of the field getting sorted out here now. A nice calm and clean start here as we continue on, and we are already under pressure here from Lando Norris. Now the reason that we are coming here for the final time today as well is you're going to see it as this race goes on, but the AI at this track, they really struggle to go wheel to wheel here with the player, especially through 130R and the run towards turn 1. They will stomp on the brake pedal, and it just doesn't make for good racing. It's clearly an issue from Codemasters that just they didn't know what they were doing with the coding and the AI basically here. So that's why this will be the last time we race here, and you're going to see it immediately here because here comes Lando Norris at the end of lap 1 to fight us on the left side on the run towards turn 1, and that right there, they do it every time. Unless they clear you into turn 1, they're always going to stomp on the brakes, and even when they do that, they'll probably stomp on the brakes too. And it's not over though between myself and Lando Norris here. He's going to have a look up the inside on lap number 2 on the run towards 130R, but again, backs out of it here. Basically, like I said, they have to get clear. If they don't, the player, me, is always going to have the advantage here. 27 laps of racing, and wondering when the rain's going to come, because it looked like it was going to happen in that 3rd, 4th slot area of the race, which is a little bit before halfway, and I'm asking Mark about it, and it seems like the rain actually is nowhere close to being forecasted right now. So what's the deal? Is it going to rain or not?
It looks like it will miss the track. I will let you know if that changes.
So it sounds like it's actually not going to rain, and therefore Alex Albon's strategy to go in mediums is maybe not that bad of an idea. I go wide on the exit of the final turn. That opens the door for the new fastest lap holder of Lando Norris. He gets clear this time on the run down towards turn 1. He put a lot of pressure, and then he hits the brake, like I said right there, that they were going to do, and I just didn't feel like I had enough room to send it around the outside, so I just backed it off just to make sure I didn't slam into the back of him. But Norris takes the lead there off of a bit of a mistake from myself. I'm not too concerned. Yeah, he's very quick, putting a lot of pressure on us to be in that position. but I think we have the upper hand, especially as the run goes on. We know this Red Bull Ford, ever since we've come to this team, last season, the Red Bull Ford's strength has been the long run. No matter like what situation we find ourselves in, we are always able to capitalize later in the run on pace. So I'm hoping that we're going to see that replicated here. Now the pit window, it's going to be about lap 12 or so. So we got about 4 or 5 laps till we really start to kick off the pit cycle here. As you can see myself struggling a little bit for grip, but we're not the only one. You can see the rear end of that Mercedes there slipping and sliding around as well. Mercedes, it's been forever since they've gone back to the top step of the podium here now, and I'm trying to make sure they don't do that today here as we're getting to the back of Lando Norris. A bit of a slide again right there into the corner, but we get ready to roll on the run down towards turn number 1. We're going to be close enough to put the fight to Norris. DRS enabled. Here we go on the overtake button as well. He protects right, I swing back to the left, and he's not even going to fight it really. He backs out, and we take the lead back here into turn number 1. As that's happening in the back, that's Aiden Jackson with a lock up into the corner as well. Drugovich slips through, moves up into P3 as we see a little bit of that running order right now. Albon down in 8th, has made no progress with those medium tires. Great onboard camera there of him. Mayer and Piastri there 9th and 10th here as we continue on, getting ready now for the pit stops and accepting the fact that, yeah, it's not going to rain. The rain is going to miss the circuit here, which works for us. I wanted to see a little bit of that rain come in and spice things up a little bit here, but it's just not going to happen now as we continue on, closing in on this pit window. Win number 3 in a row is looking very realistic now. It's been forever. We are now in season 5 of this career mode. We have not seen Mercedes win a race since season number 3. Nearly 2 full seasons since they have won a Grand Prix, as Norris is trying to get them to the top step today. He's going to follow me into the pit lane here now. Aiden Jackson had pitted last lap, so he comes in a little bit earlier. He was losing a lot of time after that lockup. Now we come in there, we're going to put on the mediums, so switch off those softs. And Albon, the medium strategy did not work for him. Even if it rained, I don't know what he was doing, but then with no rain, he just couldn't go forward even late in the run. So a bit of a disaster there for Albon, who fortunately has won so many races, had such a strong, consistent season. He can afford things to go wrong like it did in Monza there, and like it so far has today, but there's still time. Now on this opening moments of being on the medium compound tire, I was really struggling to kind of get up and get rolling, and that opened the door for Lando Norris on the run down towards 130R to really put some pressure on us. Now he's going to swing to the right side of the track. My teammate Drugovich into the pit lane, wheel to wheel into 130R. Norris backs out of it, stays put just behind myself here now on the run down towards that final chicane. We will cycle back through into the lead of the Japanese Grand Prix, but not easily. A lot of pressure right here in the rear view mirror from the British driver of Lando Norris. Aiden Jackson, P3, a lot closer to us now, and he's on the hards, and so is actually George Russell. So some drivers have decided to not go onto the mediums from the softs, but instead the hard tires. I actually get a warning there for exceeding track limits. My teammate Drugovich back down in 4th. He's been running down Jackson as these laps go on. He's about 1.5 seconds behind. Just 1 second behind Aiden Jackson. So he is reeling him in here now as we come through to lap 17. Still a lot of pressure right here as the cars behind continue to close. I just don't have the best pace right now on these medium compound tires, but we're going to go through the grid here, coming to lap 18, 10 laps to go in the Suzuka Circuit Japanese Grand Prix.
Owen out in front again as he aims for 3 wins in a row. However, he'll have to hold off a charging Lando Norris today, as these two have a bit of history in the sport over the last few seasons.
Yeah, and usually Owen comes out on the top of their fights too. I'm sure Lando would love to change that today as he continues to pressure the Canadian.
Problems, guys, big problems. Alex Albon's engine has let go. He's retiring from the race. The championship leader is out, as this gives Jackson and Russell a chance to gain. However, with so few races remaining, I don't know if this will really mean that much.
Engine's gone, boys.
Engine failure for Alex Albon, as that will move Piastri into the points behind Callie Mayer. With the recent upgrades from Connor Sport, Callie Mayer has turned into an expected regular points scorer.
Very impressive, and you have to wonder what the future holds for her. She continued to impress in her second season. We've watched Connor Sport improve dramatically since Devon Butler stepped down from driving, and Jack Doohan as well has done a tremendous job as a rookie stepping in mid-season, running 11th right now.
Sonoda down in 17th, pressuring Hughes as we continue to watch Williams just bring it home this year as they focus in on their new partnership with Lamborghini.
You saw it all. Alex Albon with a mechanical failure, his first since the early part of the season in the Mexico Grand Prix there. So that is going to be a bit of a hit to the points, but we had already talked about it a few minutes ago. I mean, such a good position with how many races he's won and the consistency that this is still going to leave him with a sizable margin, especially when it's Jackson and Russell that are the closest to him on points right now, and they've got some work to do because Drugovich as well was able to pass Jackson, and you can see, speaking of passing, nearly overtaken right there by Norris on the run through into turn number 1, but we stay ahead for the time being now as we open up the wheel there on the exit of the corner now and just try to stay out in front. But like I said, as long as he doesn't clear us, we're going to be fine here now as we come through to a few moments later, lap number 22 at this point. Drugovich 2.2 seconds back and closing, by the way, sideways off circuit through the gravel, and there goes Norris to the lead. We save it, a huge save, but the damage is done. We've lost 2 positions and down into P3 we go as we're gonna have to try and recollect ourselves immediately and get it back going here now. A just simple mistake for myself. I caught the inside curb, which I have done several times in this race, but that time the back end just got away from me, and potentially our 3rd win in a row also has gotten away from us. A lap later, actually riding over the curb again, and the car was just fine, but we have to get back at it really quickly if we want to win this Grand Prix. But we have maybe just thrown the Japanese Grand Prix victory, the final Japanese Grand Prix victory potential away here now as we come through to lap 24 of 27 and still 3 seconds to Lando Norris. We are closing in on Drugovich now within a second, so we're going to have DRS in these closing moments of this Grand Prix. As you can see, Jackson continues to fade backwards, 2.8 seconds back, and he's falling back to George Russell. Those two both closest to Albon in the points, won as many as they can get through the hairpin. Look how much time we're able to gain through this hairpin today now. This Red Bull always performs well in the low speed corners in this game, in this career mode I should say. Now 130R, Drugovich really backs up to me now, only 2.3 seconds with 2 laps to go at the line to Norris. We are closing, but I don't think there's going to be enough time on the run towards turn 1. We will have an opportunity to take second place. Drugovich protects me over there on the right side. We swing to the left. Thank you very much. Up into P2. But yeah, 2 seconds now to Lando Norris. I just don't think that there's going to be enough laps to go and run him down, especially that final lap. He's going to have, you know, basically unlimited battery. It's just not going to happen. We cut the gap down on the final lap now to 1.7 seconds, 1.8 area, but simply not close enough. Drugovich stays within attacking distance, but he's not quite close enough as well to me to be able to, you know, really put me under some pressure there as I try to bin it myself right there, slipping and sliding on the exit of the hairpin. However, the focus is on Lando Norris and Mercedes. It's been since season 3 since they've won a race. We knew this was coming eventually, and it's finally here. Mercedes is back to their winning ways. Lando Norris, top step of the podium. He wins for Mercedes in Japan.
Yeah, boy! Yes!
We did it, Lando. Thank you for hanging in there. You deserve this.
Oh my god, thank you, Toto.
So Mercedes have won it, and what a great race it was. Tell me, Ant, how do they manage to achieve this win?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
I guess there's one positive of me choking and going off in the gravel there as Mercedes gets to return to the top step here. Now, it's now been 3 consecutive races since we've seen McLaren at the top step, and it's obviously only been Albon, still Aiden Jackson. It's a weird scenario with Aiden Jackson. What do you do if you're McLaren? He's not winning races while his teammate is dominating races, but he's still performing well enough to be up there towards second. It's almost like a Perez situation that Red Bull dealt with. What does Kelly Mayer do going forward as well? She is proving that she is very capable of, you know, putting a car within the points, and she is starting to do that on a consistent basis as Connor Sport improves. Does she stay with Connor Sport, a team that's continuing to get better? She finished 9th today. Or does she try to, you know, find a better ride? And can she get into a better car? That's the question there. Well, we see lineup changes in the top teams. There's a lot of questions that are unanswered right now that could make things interesting going forward. Here's the points. Jackson P2, 57 back, still over 2 races to make up. Just not going to happen. Albon is just about ready to lock up the championship. We continue to move forward now into 4th there. In the Constructors, we are just 4 points behind Mercedes as we're going to fight them right to the end, I'm sure, for a second, as McLaren's ready to wrap that up as well. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.